Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron Selkert. I'm the supervisor of the Document Management Unit in the Bureau of Information Technology Services at the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Some background about Wisconsin DOT and our OnBase solution. We have an enterprise-wide solution. We just went over the 2,000 user platform earlier this year, and DOT is comprised of 6 separate divisions that encompass these users. I won't bore you with the acronyms, but just notate that the Division of Motor Vehicles, right there in the middle, is our biggest and brightest customer. A little bit about our background and our solutions background. So we have had OnBase and our solution in production since 2015. Prior to that, like many other organizations, we were shuffling paper around the building in buckets, rifling through paper, through filing cabinets, and there was just a lot of miscommunication, a lot of customer transparency that wasn't there. So I think the biggest benefit of moving to our OnBase digital transformation is to have the availability, have the ability to search and retrieve content for customers when they're calling. Previously, if a customer calls, wants an estimate on how long their application is hanging out, you're digging through buckets looking for paper. With the ability to search and retrieve content in OnBase, that transparency is there. You're able to give the customer an estimate on when the document was received, if it was received, and when it might be processed. So our solution began planning in 2014, and with a large scope was implemented in early 2016. Again, that was the Department of Motor Vehicles, our initial solution. All of the Bureau of Vehicle Services documents. So anything application, title related, registration renewal related, all of those documents were coming in, scanned in, and stored in OnBase. At a high level beyond our initial implementation, we've had all of those divisions that I showed earlier join our platform across a variety of solutions. We have several enterprise-wide solutions, including our out-of-state travel requests and requests for legal services. Again, DMV is our biggest user. We started with all of those vehicle products, but since 2016, that initial solution have also implemented all of the driver's licensing processes, applications, and whatnot. And that includes the whole driver's licensing process that the field service centers use. So any DMV service center that one would attend is using OnBase to get that driver's license issued. As I mentioned, the other divisions also have miscellaneous solutions across the board that we've implemented in the last half decade. So going forward, 2020 was quite a year, but 2021 presented a new problem to us at DOT. So as part of the DMV solution, they use the AnyDoc suite of products. And that included some modules that were set to be sunset. So Exchange It and Deposit are how DMV manages the metadata for checks and how ultimately the 1,500 plus checks a day, the $1 million plus that's deposited to our bank every day is processed. So with the news that this was going to be sunset, no longer supported, that's a big issue. There's too much money to be deposited, and that is, something that is serving our customers with all of their registration renewals, with all of their title transactions. So it's a big deal. So looking into how we could tackle that solution or tackle that problem head on, we brainstormed and came up with a WorkView solution. So OnBase WorkView, we have utilized to a small extent across some other divisions, but we looked into it and realized that we could easily duplicate the interface and enhance the interface that was previously used in the AnyDoc Deposit tool for our users to manage checks and the associated metadata. And in addition to the WorkView, we have workflow behind the scenes, kind of routing and matching up the check documents that are in our OnBase system with the WorkView objects and whatnot. So development on this process started in August of last year, August 2021, with a rollout last month, a successful implementation in April 2022. The benefits of this solution are many. In regards to the previous interface and the previous AnyDoc Deposit interface, it's a powerful tool, but it was limited in kind of functionality that was helpful to our user. So the WorkView filters are easily able to match a manual reconciliation that is done. Our users every day were tallying physical check amounts on a spreadsheet, and then they needed to compare that in the previous solution by individual batch. They would be typing an individual batch number and matching that dollar amount and check total against a manual spreadsheet. Well, with WorkView, we're able to utilize a filter that will display all of these batches at once. So that cuts down the time, incrementally as to how much time they're looking back and forth doing a manual reconciliation. The ability to export check information was not available in our previous solution. It is now. The ability to use dashboards to report on a certain check information. And that it was helpful from a management perspective as well as a security perspective. So previously, we could report on how many checks were deposited for a day, how many checks were deposited for a year, but it was very limited into the metadata that you could dive into based on those reports. Now we're able to easily, utilizing OnBase dashboards, look at how much historical data has been deposited for a day, for a week, for a month. And on the security side of it, we're able to track via a report what kind of actions are being taken on these checks. So if a user is deleting a check, that's flagged in the report. If a user is modifying an amount on a check, that's flagged in the report. So this has the new solution utilizing WorkView and dashboards has increased the security across the board as well with this check processing ability. And finally, the ability to export a file format that is in a proper format to be ingested by the bank. In our previous solution, we would have a format output or a file output, and it would have to be converted 2 or 3 times before it was in its final format. Well, now with WorkView, we're able to output that file, and then with one click of a button, it's converted into a format that is readily digestible to our bank. So based on some analysis and return on investment research that was done, we estimate that the new solution is saving us about 20% of time from the previous process overall. Right here is a testimonial from a DMV business area expert. I won't read it word for word, but just, it was really exciting to see a customer so excited about a solution. This previous solution had been used for over half a decade, 7 years now, to deposit checks, and to see the functionality that we were able to offer via OnBase WorkView, via dashboards, via everything that we put together into this new solution was really great. I don't know how many times we heard, how much time we were going to reduce or how excited their staff was to work with the new solution. So that's always great to hear. Finally, looking forward for WisDOT, WisDOT for the future. There is still a external application or an internal application that's used that is still being matched up and reconciled against within the check process. Going forward, it would be our vision to link those together so our users who are doing this check reconciliation are able to just look at all the metadata and in one place instead of 2. In regards to other areas that might process checks, our WorkView solution sets us up nicely for that. It should be an easy copy and paste over for any other potential expansion to users processing checks across all of our divisions within the department. And in regards to other expansion, we continue to expand in a variety of ways across all 6 of those divisions that I highlighted earlier within the Department of Transportation. So, thank you for your time and have a great rest of the day.